Hello viewers, welcome to our program on immigration and you. I am your immigration attorney Michael Fulwani, and once again we have with us attorney David Nachman, my partner.
Thanks
David, welcome.
Thanks so much, Michael. Always a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you. So today let us start with first the cutoff dates for the month of August 2014. Remember, we are in July, but we still get these cutoff dates about a couple of weeks in advance.
Exactly. This way we can plan to file the adjustments that are...
So here are the cutoff dates for the family preference categories. The first preference, which is for the unmarried sons and daughters over the age of 21 of U.S. citizens, advances by 3 weeks to April 22nd, 2007. The family 2A category, which is for the spouses and spouses for the green card holders and go back. Huh?
Cut.
Cut.
No, you want to continue or you want to start over?
Let's continue.
Continue?
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
I say. I'll continue from the very. Here are the cutoff dates. Yeah. And here are the cutoff dates for the month of August 2014. In the family preference categories, the first preference, which is for the unmarried sons and daughters over the age of 21 of U.S. citizens, advances by 3 weeks to April 22nd, 2007. The family 2A category, which are the spouses and children under the age of 21 of green card holders, unfortunately, no advance movement. Date remains the same, May 1, 2012. The family 2B category, which are the unmarried sons and daughters over the age of 21 of green card holders, good news, advanced by 8 weeks to July 1, 2007. The family third preference, which are the married sons and daughters of the U.S. citizens, 4 weeks advance to November 15, 2003. And the fourth preference, the brothers and sisters of the U.S. citizens, advances only 1 week to January 1, 2002. Unfortunately, this category has been advancing very slowly. We'll talk about that a little later. In the employment preference categories, the first preference, which is for the priority workers and persons of extraordinary ability, is current for all the countries. The employment second preference, the advanced degree holders, is current for most of the countries except India. But India is still a very good news. There was a very good news, I think, a couple of months ago when it advances by about 4 years or so. But further advances by another 4 months and 3 weeks to January 22nd, 2009. This is a very, very good news. I know that once I give you all this information, David will definitely have some nice comments on the the employment second preference category. The employment third preference, the professionals and skilled workers for most of the countries except India, is April 1, 2011, which there's no movement in that. The date remains the same, April 1, 2011. For India, it does advance by 3 weeks to November 8, 2003. And for the other workers category, also the other countries except India remain the same, April 1, 2011. And for India, advances by 1 week to November 8, 2003. The special immigrants, which includes the religious workers, is current for all the countries. And the employment fifth preference, which are the investors of $1 million or $500,000, is also current for all the countries. You want to make a couple of comments on the employment second preference before we go further?
Sure. Actually, Michael, I think that I'd like to make just a couple of quick observations. The first one, which is kind of interesting, is if we take a look historically, going back a couple of months, we know that the family second A preference category had advanced very rapidly, and we were able to help a lot of people in that classification. And now it seems that because so many people have tried to get into that classification, obviously priority dates work off of supply and demand, that now seems not to be moving, whereas all the other family classifications seem to be moving along. it really remains to be seen how that's going to change between now and, of course, October 1st. On October 1st, at the beginning of the new fiscal year, a whole bunch of more visas are going to be dumped back into that classification, and so it may advance, but unfortunately, we just don't know.
So the demand and supply situation, my recollection is once upon a time, the employment second preference was current, completely current for many, many years, many years.
Several months ago, right?
Many years, yeah. Then all of a sudden, it went back.
Right.
Back and forth, it has been going few times.
Exactly.
So,
It's unpredictable.
So, as you said, 2, 3, 4 months ago, it advances by more than 4 years and now continues to advance. What does that show? That looks like that the demand is little less than the supply. So there are more number available and they are not going back. I don't think that it should retrogress because if it would retrogress, they would retrogress this month only. But
right.
in
well,
addition
because there's no movement, it looks like things are evening out. Yeah. And it's really difficult to predict between now and October 1st, but it's our hope, of course, that come October, things will advance.
So somebody has an I-140 approved with the dates that come under this bulletin, they should immediately go ahead and file the 485, right?
Absolutely. And that takes us into the employment preference category, which was we had a nice advance of 4 months and 3 weeks for India in the second employment preference category. So many of our clients, of course, had an opportunity to take advantage of those immediate priority dates and to go ahead and file their adjustments of status and to hopefully take advantage of the benefits of the employment authorization and the travel document. So with things moving along comfortably, that's great. However, and we've said this before in our prior programming, and we'll say it again, is that if you feel that you have a resume that is worthy of the potential of an E11 classification, which is current, then please feel free to send it to your immigration counselor and let them guide you on the possibility of looking at a current priority date. So it's very important that you consider the option of being able to advance your situation, because otherwise the backlogs, of course, are considerable. Another observation which I'd like to make is that many of you have computers. If you would like to get the priority dates, there is a website that the Department of State puts out. It's travel.state.gov, and if you type into their search mode, into their search engine, August priority dates 2014, then these numbers will come up, and you can subscribe on a monthly basis. You can actually receive these numbers on your desktop, and you can monitor these numbers. And then, of course, when your priority date becomes current, that's the time to reach out for your immigration counselor and to say to them, now it's my time to file my adjustment of status application along with my travel document and along with my work authorization.
Let's go to a most current hot issue. You might have seen
hot topics in immigration
very hot
law.
topic. You might have seen all the time, you see probably on the TV or the newspapers, New York Times first front page, is a border crisis. Okay. And thousands of little children are coming to the border. I mean, first of all, coming to the border is not just taking a flight or a bus or a train. They walk through the jungles. They walk through, some of them die also.
Is that why it's a hot topic?
Yeah, that's right. They don't even have water to drink. They are thirsty. They are hungry.
Right.
It's very tough journey they make.
Exactly.
Okay. Finally, they reach the border.
Right.
They are not trying. Interesting. They are not trying to sneak in. They go to the CBP officer standing there and tell them, "I am here and process me."
Correct.
What processing means is that they take their fingerprints, biometrics, and give them a notice of appearance, the notice to appear before a judge in a deportation proceedings. So this is become a big, huge issue. And first of all, I want to tell you that why is it happening? Why is it happening? Why is so all of a sudden thousands and thousands coming? Two things I know, and you can make some comments. One thing is that there's a rumor going on in those countries, and I think most of them are coming from El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. So the word went around there that all you have to do, go up, go to the border and tell the officer, I'm entering US, and they will let you come in and you can stay, and ultimately you get a green card. So people say, okay, but they are sending children 7 years, 6 years, 5 years, 3 years. I mean, It has become a big mess because that becomes a humanitarian issue. What do you do with the little children at the border? What do you do? Tell me. Now, I just want to go 1 minute back to 2008. In 2008, when President Obama was there, they made some change in the law. The change in the law was that people were trying to cross from Canada and Mexico. They expedite removal. They can refuse to enter, throw them back, throw them back.
Do our viewers understand what the expedited removal process is? Maybe we should just quickly explain. So the expedited removal process is one that was set up actually in 1990s, I believe, under IMACT 90. And the expedited removal process is a very clear procedure which is given to the CBP officers, which allows them to remove individuals who come in at the border. However, they have to give them what's called a credible fear interview.
You are correct, 2090. But in 2008, they made some change.
Yes.
And the change was that people coming from other countries other than Canada and Mexico, they should be given an opportunity of a due process.
Yes.
So that they have the opportunity, if they want to apply for a political asylum or something,
Correct.
A judge has to make a decision.
Well, it's actually...
So that's what Obama has keep on saying.
Correct.
That, listen, is the existing law. I didn't make this law. This is the law. So we have to process these children coming from these countries, give them an opportunity to go for the process, and the judge may order them deportation. But they have a pretty good case for a political asylum as well.
Right. Well, so Michael, what happens is the individual shows up at the border and they're given what's called a credible fear interview. So if you want to look up what a credible fear interview is and what you or what a person who comes to the border would need to sustain, what kind of arguments they need to sustain, the elements of this argument are available so you can understand it. But basically what it is if you have a credible fear of persecution, that if you're returned to your home country, that you are going to be tortured or you're going to be persecuted, then of course you have an opportunity to make out that argument. If you are able to sustain a credible fear at the border, then what they do, as Michael had properly pointed out, is they serve you with an NTA, a notice to appear. It's a charging document before the EOIR, the Executive Office of Immigration Review, and then you go in front of an immigration judge, and then you make out your asylum case before the judge. So that's the way it's handled.
But all these people are not necessarily, you would say, running away from rapes and those kind of torture and problems.
Everyone has a different story.
So that's why this hearing is there to prove some people may be coming for economic gains only, for employment, for a job, for a good life. Some are running away from these terrorism and all those acts. The one other thing is that when these children are processed, right, there are some children whose parents are already living in the U.S.
Right.
Believe me, you and me were only Mexicans and Hondurans. And I had 2-3 cases at least when the people are illegally staying here, Indians I'm saying, illegally, but their children, small children are left behind. And they somehow managed to get them here through the same means and then put them in deportation proceedings and all that. So what they're doing now, basically we are seeing that if that child has a family, then after the processing, they give the child to the custody of their parents. Why should they spend the money of the government, put them in a jail? It's not humanitarian anyway. So until the case continues, then whatever decision is made. In the meantime, they can stay with the parents. Practically what happens, we know what happens in the end. Most of the time, they just stay behind.
Exactly. Well, Michael, you raised a very good point before, and I think that that's something that we should maybe spend a little more time probing, and that is, why are these people coming? And so one of the arguments which you probably pointed out is, of course, because of the violence in their countries. But one of the other schools of thought by our colleagues is that because of what's going on with CIR, Comprehensive Immigration Reform, that the waffling of the government, the fact that unfortunately no one can make up their minds, is attracting people to the border because they believe that once they cross in, then of course everything changes and that they'll be granted amnesty in the United States. Do you buy into that?
Yeah, but I'm saying that also they don't forget the family unification. Little children are left behind. If the legal system was working properly, if there was a legal way for people to immigrate, children left behind, parents are here, they could apply for a visa, they could get a visa and come in. No, you don't have that. Our immigration system is broken, the laws are broken. So what are the options for these people? They try to somehow, I'm not encouraging, I'm saying why it is happening. The
Right.
children are brought in by coyotes or by other means and they join them. So this is what has been happening. But this is causing a serious problem also for both the administration as well as the legislators.
Exactly.
Okay, okay. There's going to be one complete program that we will be doing on what is happening between Democrats and Republicans. It's a very
Well,
interesting
I think that's
program.
going to be our next program. We're running out of time, Michael, so I think what we'd like to do is when we come back, maybe what we'll do is handle some of those issues.
So you have to decide between you and me. Are you going to be the Republican leader or the Democratic leader? I'll give you a choice, and we'll do the next program. Very interesting. Please watch us every Saturday and Sunday at 11:45 a.m. in the morning. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, David.
Always a pleasure, Michael.
And goodbye.
Thank you.